that is the most powerful thing about, taking people on a journey, getting that drone shot, getting a shot of a camera where you can see the parallax and it coming across on a slider or on some tracks. And that really immerses you in that story to make it super interesting.
Yeah, the things about social media is, and the biggest challenge on social media and why it's important is you've got max 15 seconds to kind of like get your message across. You're limited to 15 seconds across, Facebook, Instagram. You've got stories, you've got reels, you've got in-stream. Some ads can be skipped after 5 seconds on social media. On TikTok and LinkedIn, you've got only a short space of time to really capture audience attention. So video visually, it's very important because it stands out more than just an image. I'm not going to say which client it was because at this moment in time, we're still in conversations with them, but they spent £4 million on a, let's say, project, and they were doing YouTube campaigns, but then when we audited the paid social campaigns, they were using image carousels. And I was like, I don't get it. You have the content because you're clearly pushing it across YouTube. Why are you not pushing it across social media, which is a more of a better platform from a targeting perspective in terms of actually driving clicks and relevant clicks to the website. So that's the problems I see that businesses make in terms of what they should try and avoid is, they think sometimes video is just one particular platform. But when we talk about video as a service, as an agency, video is, yes, it's YouTube, but it's social media, it's TV. Video is so diverse right now as a portfolio of platforms that it can be anything.
Can I just jump in there?
Yeah.
So you talked about 15 seconds, and I couldn't agree with you more. So I'd say, even though the platforms say 15 seconds, I think you've got less time than that. So in the first 3 seconds, you've decided, you've just seen something, and you've decided whether, do you want to carry on watching this, or is this interesting or not in the first 3 seconds? And by the time you get to the 10th second, you've decided, well, am I going to just now scroll off it, or should I carry on watching? So I think first 3 seconds and the 10 seconds, you as a consumer are going to decide whether you want to consume this content or not. So what really grates with me is there's so many videos I see, and the first 10 seconds is just the logo, and you can see the music building up and the logo coming in, and I'm just thinking, what have I learned in 10 seconds? Swipe, is gone. It's like, what a waste. So think about the customer first. We're all running at 100 miles an hour at the best of time. You don't have time for a 10-second logo stint at the beginning. Get straight in with the message. In the first 10 seconds, get that hook out, get that teaser out. What am I going to see in the rest of this content? It doesn't matter if it's another 30 seconds or 90 seconds or even 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, YouTube's pushing 10 minutes and more. But in that first 10 seconds, it will buy you the next 30. The next 30 will buy you the next 60, and so on and so on.
Yeah, because then they're like we said, it's storytelling. They've invested into that story, that message you're communicating. They've connected on an emotional level to what it is you're doing. I think when you look at the best influencers and the more key influencers, especially like people like Mr. Beast, he starts with, I created a Squid Game and offered £1 million to anyone who could complete the course.
There's a hook.
There it is. All right, cool. I'm interested in watching this. I created Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory and offering £500,000 to anyone who completes the course. It's like, that's what he did. And that's just a snippet taken from what he said later on, but then he builds it up. So you're like, oh, okay, this video is about X, Y, Z.
Absolutely.
So, it's always a learning process. I look back at our videos and think about, oh, you know what, I could look at creating a bit of a call to action at the beginning. But I think that's great advice to anyone, and why it's important is definitely create that hook, that call to action within the first 3 seconds, specifically on social media, because that's the most valuable element.
Absolutely.
In terms of what people are doing, and whether you're a product or whether you're a service or whether you're just trying to create some engagement or brand message out there and build a brand, is, you've got to have that core hook within the first few seconds, because you're right, they don't really have 15 seconds on YouTube. I think the max is about 5 to 7 seconds that someone's willing to watch a full video. 5 to 7 seconds is not a long time, really, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. You compare it to stuff like Formula One, that's, not really a lot Well, actually, in Formula 1 terms, 5 to 7 seconds gap is quite a lot. But still, you know what I'm trying to get at. 5 to 7 seconds is over in a blink of an eye. So you don't have much time to gather attention, specifically when there's now that much video content out there.
Absolutely.
And with so much video content out there, you're competing against all that other content for your customers' attention. So how do you get their attention over something else?
Well, we have something called the 5 C's. It's a storytelling structure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first C, cold. Second C, context. The third one is content. Fourth one, conclusion. And the fifth one, call to action. And if you use that as a framework, exactly what, like you said, how you shared Mr. Beast's story, that was a hook. That was a teaser right at the beginning that grabs your attention. Then move into the context. Why now? Why is it important? Give a bit of a backstory. Then you go into the content, the main bulk of the story. Move on to the conclusion, quick summary, and then call to action. What do we do next? And if you think about that format, whether it's short form, medium, or long form, and you're trying to build that structure, that framework around your content, it just makes it more palatable for your audience because they get it straight away. If they're not your audience, they'll switch off from the hook. If they are, then they're more likely fall into your funnel, into your story, into your content.
Fantastic. So I think that wraps it up perfectly. Importance videos, the 5 C's. We'll actually add that into the description and a link if you can give that to Rashpal
Awesome.
on the actual video for people. So again, thank you, Rashpal, for joining us for these last 2 episodes and giving your expert opinion on video. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
And thank you to the audience for listening in. We hope you've really enjoyed this episode and the one before. More episodes coming up every week. So don't forget to follow, like, subscribe across our podcast streaming platforms. And if you're on YouTube, it's good to see you. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell notification button. We'd appreciate any comments and feedback. And don't forget to reach out to me on LinkedIn or onto our social medias and give some feedback and ask some questions, and we can get them featured on the podcast. Thank you, everyone.